maybe I got it. Maybe I need to stop saying this. Maybe that's the route I should go. I always come on here and I say, I'm a fan of AEW. I want AEW to do well. We all do. It's great for the business. It's great for pro wrestling. That's the route that we want this company to go in. And then I see a segment that opened the show like the one that we saw last night. And listen, there are people out there that thought that segment was great. It was a hot way to open the show, a lot of action. And I'd love to hear from the people that thought that. Like, again, this is two-way talk, Nick. It's not just my opinion, but I got to give my opinion. So I'm going to throw out the phone number if there are people still listening after the last segment. 877-344-4893, 877-FIGHT-93. Dear God. I want to know what you thought of that opening segment, because, Nick, is it just me? Or did they go through a 3-month story in 30 minutes last night? Like, I'm watching that segment, and I'm like, this is the start of a story. This is a match. This is a feud. This is the conclusion, and this is the end. Like, they did that in 30 minutes. Am I off? Please, Nick. Am I off at all by that? By my analyzation of what I saw in the opening segment of that match last night?
So that is an absolutely fair point to make. Now, someone like myself who watched the show, and I go on social media to see after what people say. Many people said in a positive way, this is the best thing I've seen since 2021 on AEW. This is how you kick it off. This is how you go. So then I started thinking, I think along the way you too, the way you do also, to where it's like, I get WWE, it's like they're in molasses and they go really slow and they drag out storylines, but that you get everyone involved and you definitely know, and they slow feed it to you. And again, AEW is an alternative, something different. And if the fans in the crowd listening to their reactions, they were through the roof. They were ridiculous. They loved every second of it. But yes, of course, we started with, I will never be your friend ever again or even talk to you. This is over with. And just a few minutes later, it's, we're going to fight to the death with each other, watching each other's back. And so that is a very quick way to go about it. There could, we're all Monday morning quarterbacking, and that's the deal. Watching that as someone who's so used to the slower storylines, watching that go so fast, I went, man, there could have been weeks and it reminded me very much so of that invasion angle with WCW and WWE, and Stone Cold was reluctant to come save the day. And over weeks and weeks, it was like, will he do it? Will he be a part of it? And then one day we kept cutting to him in a bar every couple of minutes, and he would ponder and he would think, and this is weeks later, and go, damn it, I don't know. And then towards the end, you finally get to the end of a show after weeks and months of an invasion angle. And with 5 minutes to go, he goes, damn it, I got to stand up for this place. And I remember him, I didn't have this prepared. I remember him busting a pull cue and walking out the door, and I think getting into his truck. And then he comes in, and the place blew the roof off. And now at that point, they were so used to blowing the roof off for Stone Cold and in that era all the time. And at this point, it was something even bigger and louder, and everyone went insane. So I think long-term, people like us who are analyzing what happened story-wise and the speed and how everything happened, yes, this could have been a several-week or month angle. This turned out to be all within 20 minutes. And a bunch of different things changed. But to me, as much as I would prefer a long-term story, and you could see something just like that, I will never be your friend, I will never have your back, until you're forced into that position. And then the crowd is in their mind maddeningly yelling, going, please go help Ospreay. You have to do this. And then when you do, you get that extra emotion from the crowd. I think last night you got crazy emotion from the crowd because they love what they see. The sickos at AEW, they want the dives, they want crazy, they want it now, they want it fast. And you got to base some of that on the crowd reaction. And I feel like the crowd, a lot of them got what they wanted last night.
They did. It was an exciting 25, 30 minutes, however long that it was. It was
Yes.
like, it gave the people what they wanted for that short period of time.
Yes.
You're right. The arena, the in-house fans were excited, and there's people, wow, what a hot way to start the show. But
Yes.
there's a lot here. If you give me
Yeah.
a moment to kind of dissect
Please.
it a little bit. So you have Kenny Omega, who just came back. Kenny Omega has just come back. Will Ospreay and has been the anchor since Kenny Omega has gone away. Will Ospreay is talking about how he has been that anchor. Kenny Omega's back, and Will Ospreay is saying, "Let's do this together. We can be together, you and I." And Kenny Omega's like, "Fuck you, dude. Like you." I'm not going to just forget that you tried to take me out with a screwdriver. And then Will Ospreay's like, yeah, but that wasn't me. It was Don Callis. They go, no. Like, you're not going to just make me forget that you tried to take me out with a screwdriver. And then Will Ospreay goes from like a 0 to 100. He gets in Kenny Omega's face. Like, it's like, who that? Screw you! Like he got like Ospreay got super pissed. And I'm like, wait a second, why is Ospreay getting so angry? Kenny Omega's right, and they're about to go to blows. Like
Yes.
they're right. It looked like here's Will Ospreay super angry at Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega's like, this guy, you tried to take me out, and they're about to go to blows. They look like they're about to kill each other, right?
Yes.
Then Don Callis, and I love Don Callis. But I got to be honest with you. I'm thinking of Don Callis a little bit different than this morning than I ever have about Don Callis. Your two enemies are about to fight. They're about to go to blows. That's when you decide to come out with the Callis family at that moment when your two enemies are about to kill each other. That's when you decide, all right, let's bring out but yeah, he had to, because you're telling a 3-month story in 20 minutes. So you gotta, like, Tony Khan must be back there. Come on, let's go. Move it. Get out there. We gotta move this story along. We don't have much time. This segment's gonna end soon. Hurry up. Get out there.
Well,
Then we see the dreaded Callis family. And again, Nick, and you know this, because I'm sure even before you became a wrestler, because you're hitting on, guys, girls right in front of them and stuff like that.
Well, the other way around, but yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, you have probably been in a lot of fights in your life.
Handful.
And when you're angry and you're mad at somebody, you don't dive at somebody, you don't throw punches at somebody. No. When you're angry at somebody, you do a moonsault into the ropes, hit a cutter. You know what I'm saying? Like a little side kick. You do a little bit of roly-poly there. You do you know what I'm saying? You do a bit of Rodney Dangerfield from Back to School, the Triple Lindy. Because nothing shows more anger than doing a Triple Lindy on somebody. Like that's when you really want to hurt somebody, you do the roly-poly into a moonsault off the ropes, Triple Lindy onto your dreaded
You'd
enemy.
be a great
Like,
play-by-play announcer. I love that.
That's what you do. Like, that's what you do.
Yes.
Well, so then you get the fight.
Yes.
And the whole Callis family's out there. Brian Cage, Lance Archer. I love that they're, and then the fight went out into the concourse, and then, I actually thought there'd be more people wanting to buy AEW merch, but there wasn't a fan to be seen because nobody wants to buy another Bruv jersey. Like the fans already have that. You know what I'm saying? So there's nobody at the merch stand, no fans there. So they're beating on Lance Archer, and then we see it. Like, you saw the eyes connect between Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. They're like, man, Lance Archer's here. He's bent over. He's been bent over for 90 seconds. We got to do something with the guy. Like, he's waiting for us to do something. So we got to do something. So they do the double suplex into the merch table. And at that moment, Nick, they're on the same team. Now it seems like they're working together. And then it goes up on the scaffold in the arena. The fight goes up to the scaffold. And once again, like Kenny Omega, after they just beat down Callis' family and they retreated up. And then they're doing moonsaults off the skyscraper and all that type of stuff. And great. You know, they're doing like triple. I actually think that Kenny Omega did the Rodney Dangerfield triple Lindy from Back to School off the scaffold. And they go on the Callis family. The Callis family retreats because they've been beaten. Yeah. Even though they had the numbers game, they were defeated last night because of that. Them teaming, Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay teaming together. Right. And they're up on the scaffold and they had a moment.
No. And
Kenny Omega, and this week I give a lot of credit to Kenny Omega. He was the better man, in my opinion, the bigger man. He apologized. What for? Will Ospreay did I miss something? He used a foreign object and embedded it into your forehead and didn't try to beat you in a He tried to not end your career. He tried to kill you. But Kenny Omega he's like, you know what? I'm sorry, man. I could see what you're trying to do. Let's be friends. You know what? Let's make it even better. February 13th in Australia, you and I team up against the Callis family. Kyle Fletcher, right? Got to get him involved in the match because he's from Australia. So nothing's going to be better than your baby faces in your heels and everybody cheering your heels because Kyle Fletcher is from Australia. Does anybody in that company think? Like, do they think? I mean, really? Listen, gloves off. I mean, enough.
Sure?
Enough is enough. Enough's enough now. Like, has anybody put any thought into any of this shit? I'm being honest. You know what? Let's team our two biggest baby faces and go after, I don't know, the hometown hero, Kyle Fletcher in Australia? Come on. Dear God. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. They don't know. I've defended, I'm on my knees right now. I'm on my freaking knees. I have defended this company for years, for months, for weeks, for days. I've tried. I've sat in the front row in New Jersey. I've got to more AEW shows in the last 5 years than WWE shows. Okay? I am trying, and maybe the nation can help me. But does any thought go into this at all? Did anybody put any thought into it? Like any thought? Let's get our two biggest baby, Kyle Fletcher. They'll hate him. Why would they? Well, he's from Australia. We're in Australia. You're in Australia. What? I can't. I try. I'm trying. And I know that people are going, oh, you're a WWE show. Yeah, because the WWE pays me a lot of money. I can fucking retire with all the money the WWE pays. I get nothing.
Same.
I get nothing. I get nothing. Well, yeah, you, Nick. Nothing. I get nothing. I get nothing. Nothing. I would do the same thing when I was sitting in front row. AEW didn't get me a ticket. A fan. I went with Mike in Hoboken to go to. I sat in the front row. I buy shirts. I got AEW shirts up my ass, for God's sake. I paid for them. I'm happy to spend my money on AEW and anything professional. The only company that pays me is SiriusXM. If anybody, Nick, you know that TNA, WWE, AEW, ISPW here in Northern New York, anybody, you want me to be a part of your show? I'm going to be there. Awesome Championship Wrestling. I'll do it because I love it, and it also is great promotion for Busted Open. Nobody pays me. ISPW did, but that's because they can't pay me.
Full disclosure.
I love Tommy Fierro. But these big, I mean, come on. I'm doing it because, but AEW, man, they make it fucking tough. Holy shit. I'm watching that. I'm like, how about this? I don't know, Nick. I don't mean to be bogarting the time, you know? It's like a fucking J, for Christ's sake. I'm bogarting. You have Kenny Omega just come back. Will Ospreay's been the anchor. You saw the end. What a story that would be. Yeah. Where Kenny Omega's like, I can't trust you. You tried to kill me. You tried to end my career. Yeah, but I've changed. Well, you got to prove to me that you've changed. That takes time. Yeah. That takes time. And you know what? You could have a match. How great. You want to fill up an arena in Australia? Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, where the fans have to choose, where like they love both guys, but babe, like Will Ospreay makes a point. Kenny Omega makes a point. And then somewhere down there, why do I want to see a tag match when Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, they just took out the whole Callis family last night? So now why do I want to watch a tag match when they just took out the entire family last night? So they took out 4 people. Now I'm going to be invested when it's 2-on-2?
That was one extra piece that I was waiting. I didn't know you were going to hit there at the end. Of all the pieces that you made that made sense, for sure. I thought at least like, well, if there's only 2 of the Don Callis family, then these guys aren't the well-oiled machine. They hate each other. They shouldn't be able to be on the same page, at least if you're building that match. But 2 of them took out 4 of them theoretically while not being on the same page, while not being friends, while hating each other against the well-oiled machine of the Don Callis family. And now you make, that is a great point no matter where you sit or stand. Now you want to see a match with rules with less people, and you already saw them come out on top. And now it'll be against 2-on-2 with rules. And a great point you said, it's Australia. So now you got the hometown guy on the evil bad guy team. And that at least means 50% of the crowd is cheering him, if not more. But sometimes when it comes to AEW, it matters more about the spots last night, like the jumping from the scaffolding. That was a crazy visual. And the positive part that I'm focusing on here, because you gave him a good run for the money there in the last 20 minutes or so. The positive is, I feel, even if it's not exactly for me, even if the story is not exactly for me, and you made all very serious points, because I'm locked in that New York mindset of going slow and getting to pieces and having people start thinking and begging for things before you give it to them. This is a different scenario. This is a different company. I think that I based, as much as I go, I wish this would have taken a couple weeks or a couple months or a couple TVs or something, I based it on the reaction of the crowd. And they were there. Of course, long term, you could have had a moment where, I'm not saying a stone cold moment, and I'm not even comparing the two. I'm just saying there could have been a moment to where Ospreay or Omega is in the ring and you have them surrounded or outnumbered, and you have the crowd chanting for the other one, begging them to come out. Please, Kenny, forgive this guy. Come help him. Look at the situation he's in. He needs you no matter what. And then maybe you get that moment, and maybe you don't. But to build and build and build. In this case, we did go through what theoretically WWE would have done in a month or 3 months. We did it in a segment. But also, again, the flips off the friggin' scaffolding were absolutely, let's not say that they weren't a big deal. They were a big deal.
It was amazing.
It was insane.
Visual is insane.
I watched it 5 times back. I go, for all the dives in this business that I see, this was something special and big. And again, I'll keep going back to this. As much as I wanted it to go slow, as much as I wanted to go, can they trust each other in Australia? We don't know. Don Callis, they're all aligned, and they're going to be cheering Australia's hometown boy. But can these 2 big stars put their egos behind them and go for it? We don't know. We'll find out. Maybe you find out in that match. But last night, we went right to it and got to it, and we know. Screw it. And another great point. He said, Kenny's pissed at Ospreay for trying to murder him, and then ends up apologizing. And I did not understand that part. But again, I will go
Well,
off
I mean, but
the
Nick, what you
fans.
don't realize, words hurt. Words hurt. So like,
They do.
as much as like, as much as you could take, a tool and bury it into somebody's forehead, when Kenny said to Will Ospreay, I don't trust that
Internal scars last forever, Dave.
Yes. Words hurt. Yes. There's no
Words
doubt about it.
hurt.
I'm like in amazement. This is the absurdity of it all. I'm watching this and like, all right, they're beating down Kenny Omega, and Will Ospreay's in the ring, and Tony Schiavone's like, "What are you doing? Go help the guy." And he's like, "I don't know if I should help the guy. I don't know." And then he tears off his jacket. And he goes, helps Kenny Omega. Shouldn't it be the other way around?
Yes.
It's Will Ospreay getting beat down, and Kenny Omega's the one in the ring saying, "Should I help this guy?
Right.
This guy tried to kill me. Should I help him?" I mean, I was out all the I was out all this time, like, and I've gone through so much, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna put my life on the line to help somebody that tried to end my career. That's the story.
Yes.
Why is it Kenny Omega getting beat down and Will Ospreay the one questioning whether she should? Did they put any thought into this? Like, I want to know. I need to know. Is there somebody that's actually putting pen to paper or typing or on thumbing their phone or anything, writing down these ideas, talking to somebody else and saying, "What do you think?" Or are they just fucking throwing shit out there for no reason? I got to ask you this. Because the story's there. Yeah. The story's there. A story. Oh, you don't need stories. I want match. Great. But you got to give people a reason to tune in every week.
Right.
Based on what I saw last night, why am I tuning into Dynamite next week? Why? They already made the match for February 13th. Now, maybe I'll go and tune into Collision on a Saturday or whatever it is on February 13th when this is happening. Maybe I'll watch that. But in anything that happened in that opening segment, tell me what's going to make you tune into Dynamite next week?
And I don't even...
Nothing.
Yeah. And even if it comes down to the people who just want the matches and just want the dives and the cool moments, we already got it. It happened yesterday on the first day. It's it. There's no double scaffolding dive to do. It happened. And it's like, I don't even know how you outdo that when it comes to just craziness and stunt, which was awesome. There's not even that level left like that. And that's kind of you make a good point. What do you need to tune in to see? You kind of already saw the good guys overcome the bad guys. And that was with 4 of them, like you said. And now you have to have a tag match with only 2 of them. That should be easy. I already saw it. And the part of all the different pieces going too fast that you mentioned, that's all great. And that's all makes sense. The most important part to me was, you're right. It should have been Ospreay surrounded, Ospreay getting beat up. And Kenny's like, this guy attempted to murder me, but I love wrestling so much. I know the background story of Ospreay. I know the potential he has. I know what AEW can mean if the 2 of us are the biggest stars in the world. But you know what? He tried to murder me, and you at least get him walking off or going backstage for a second.
Great point.
Even if it's just for a second, to be like, oh, he left him. And that storytelling and WWE going slow, he would have been like, no, you're on your own, man. Sorry, you made this bed. And then maybe 3 more times of this, and the crowd is chanting for him, and then he comes running down. But if you're going to do it AEW style, you could have at least had him go, you make a great point. Ospreay is being surrounded. He's being beat up. Kenny goes, you know what? You tried to murder me. Good luck. I hope they kill you too. And he leaves slowly, but with perplexed and looking over his shoulder, knowing that he walks backstage, and then they start putting the boots to him, and maybe they're ready to put him through a table or put a chair around his neck. And then, damn it, Kenny, he breaks that pull cue and on the billiard table and runs down and says, damn it, cleans house, cleans house, cleans house. And you don't have to have it be the cliche where they bump backs into each other and go, whoa, and they throw a punch. No, he did what was right, and he still gives Ospreay a look and goes, I remember you tried to murder me, but now you owe me one, and I just fighting for the best of AEW. I don't give a shit about you, and then walk away. And you go, oh, maybe by February 13th, maybe they could be on the same page. I don't know. I got to see.
There's so many different ways you could have gone. And
Yes.
I'm telling you, I think that was a first. In all my years of watching wrestling, I think that might have been a first where you told a legit 3-month story in one segment on a show. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And yes, you're right. You got the great spots of them off the scaffold. That's the end. That's the conclusion. That's the exclamation. Yes. What could they do on February 13th that's going to outdo what you did last night? Nothing.
I don't know. I don't know what can happen. Yeah. And they already got the better of the bad guys. What really would have helped, I think, if it wasn't the full Don Callis family, if it was the two that they were going to have the match with, or the two that they weren't going to have the match with, and then they got the better of them. But will they get these two, or will they get with all four and Don Callis around and a screwdriver? I don't know. But yeah, you started it with, if you're already not on the same page, you went to the same page, you got the beat down, you got everything happen all of a sudden, and then you get the match made also, and it just
everything happened.
Everything in a month happened in 20 minutes, and it did.
Unbelievable. And you know what, Nick? I'm not even going to say the one thing I'll say from what you just said, because what you just said was amazing. Is I'm not even going to say WWE, like the It's not just anything. And old school NWA, Mid-South, Georgia Championship Wrestling, World Class Championship Wrestling, ISPW. Any wrestling. You have gold in your hands. Why are you so quick to spend it all? You just spent it. It's completely spent. And again, you want people, the ratings are declining. Attendance is declining. You want to get people to buy tickets to your shows and to watch on a weekly basis. There is no reason to watch. Watching that segment, you had a story that could have get people to watch your show for the next 3 months. And then you come out of it with, there's no reason for me to watch next week. Like, it's like there's somebody there that needs a talking to. Somebody needs to be held responsible. Somebody needs to be held responsible for their actions. Because that should not happen. That should not happen. My God. That's not even like, I know, God bless, Bully and Mark talk about the learning tree and learning under a Paul Heyman and the Vince McMahon. This is just common sense. This is common sense. I've watched trauma movies with a higher story arc than AEW.
And now
I've watched porn. I've watched porn movies with greater story arc
have those?
than AEW. They even take their time. They don't get right into it. There's some other things going on.
You got to order the pizza, get the delivery,
Yes!
get the knock on the door.
Pizza guy's got to deliver the pizza. Pizza's not going to just be there. You don't just open up the door and the pizza's there. No. You call the pizza. I'm hungry. I want a pizza. You call the pizza delivery guy. You have to wait, 30 minutes? Then the pizza gets to your house. And
as long
then
as the noid's not involved, yes.
You got to put it on a plate. You got to put the pizza on a plate. You don't just say, I want pizza, and then it's there in front of you.